Hello, everyone. Eric Watson here. Welcome to Chat for the Lost Plane, our weekly live stream post-session discussion, where we talk about what just happened during D&D. This is the chat for session 14. If you haven't watched that session yet, please go do that now. We'll be discussing everything that happened. DM Chris is here.
Hello.
Player Raymond is showing up with his own rug of sleepiness.
That's right.
I did not expect. I guess what I expected is we're going into a dungeon. There's gonna be we're gonna fight these slots. So you've successfully
subverted your expectations.
Subverted my expectations, indeed. In a very good way. I mean, how much of this is? I don't know Dungeon of the Mad Mage, so I feel like discussing that won't spoil anything because I'm insanely curious to know.
And I can tell you that Marin's Grove is like 70% the book, 30% me.
Okay.
The Twisted Caverns is like 10% the book, 90% me. I took the map.
Wow. And
I changed basically everything.
Okay.
I kept a couple things, but I changed what they do. Like, there's a giant in that room in Dungeon of the Mad Mage. It's an Etten, not a Fomorian. I just leveled up what kind of creature was in there.
Okay.
For your guys' level. But it wasn't friendly. It was just sort of and it didn't have the colorful mushrooms in the room. It was just there. Kind of just a general, like, do you want to try to talk to it? Do you want to try to avoid it? It was a little bland. So I gave it the colorful mushrooms. I give it.
Yeah.
It was also a friendly creature in that shop room, but it was not a trader. It was not a creature that wanted to sell you anything. It was just a creature you could get information from and have a conversation with.
Okay.
I added the fact that it wanted to trade with you and the items and all that.
Okay.
So the pieces were there from Mad Mage, but I threw away most of it and just put my own stuff in there.
Is part of that a need to scale things up higher? Because I don't know what.
Yes, part of it's a need to scale things up higher, and part of it's like stuff is just kind of, there's some stuff that I read and it just wasn't interesting.
Yeah.
I was like, well, okay, they go and talk to this guy, but why would they want to talk to this character? There's no reason for them to like want to talk to them.
Mm.
You know, there's a lot of that kind of thing where I'm like, I need to make this more interesting somehow. The fact, and the other thing is that this level in Mad Mage is just another level of the Mad Mage dungeon.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's a part of the chaotic plane, so it has chaotic reactions to magic, is also my own thing.
Okay.
Which some of that comes from the new book.
Because it has a supernatural environment.
The realms, yeah. It has that whole section.
Okay.
So I pulled
from that
some of them. I went through there's a couple lists of like different supernatural realms and the different effects that can happen. I went through and pulled the ones I liked out of one of them, and then I added some others from some other like random like wild magic tables that like people love making wild magic tables. Apparently, if you Google search that
love that shit.
They make all sorts of crazy abilities. So yeah, and then I just sort of built my own wild magic table basically. To be like, okay, here's the chaos effects that happen if you try to use magic in this place.
Oh.
Which what I'll say about that,
that's
interesting, is that you guys, not to like scare you or anything, but you guys have found the least impactful chaos effects out of all of them with your first 3 rolls.
Interesting.
They're just so benign.
Just kind of fun stuff. That's like,
some of them are like terrible. Some of them are great. Some of them are terrible.
It's like the wild magic table where like some of them are like you deal fireball on yourself, and others are like you, I don't know, turn a different color.
Yes, exactly. You guys got a bunch of those, and like, well, technically the one that Tim got at the end is bad. He has the fairy fire effect on him.
He has, that's true. We're going to remember that because
I'll put a little token on his thing on his token just so we remember.
Actually, it's like self-imposed fairy fire.
Yep.
Because of the glitter.
There's a little star here. I'll put a little star on it. But yeah, so you guys have encountered the pretty not harmful, not helpful ones as of yet.
Interesting.
But I'll be curious to see what happens because there's some of them that I really liked, but I'm like, if they roll this one, I've got probably like 30 of them in there.
Wow.
I'm like, if they roll this one, it's gonna literally like change. It's gonna. I mean, like Right Crash said when you guys go in, nothing here is permanent.
Yeah.
It's all
It's
constantly
just all
changing.
the environmental effects.
Yeah, but some of them could be like, all right, you got to deal with this right now. Like that. So I don't know. We'll see.
Interesting. Did you either forget or just not apply when I cast Pass Without Trace at the entrance?
I forgot, and if you notice, I forgot until you guys were leaving the Fomorian's cave, and I was like, oh shit, they cast spells just a second ago.
Oh yeah.
Remember? That's why I went
Yeah.
like, hey, those spells you guys cast a couple minutes ago, you feel the spell effect still with you. Yeah, that was me covering for the fact that I forgot
Yeah.
back at the beginning of that encounter.
I did too, obviously, because I just did it.
Yep.
Like, all right, I'm gonna do this, and like,
Yep.
Right, straight up warned us about it.
So Pass Without Trace, I was comfortable enough going like, well, they were still right at the entrance. Maybe it's like weaker there. It's fine.
It's interesting. It's not tied to a roll or anything. It's just if you cast a spell, it's gonna happen.
Yep.
Which is a very interesting restriction. And I read, and that was part of what I read from Tasha's, is that hey, if you want to make an area more challenging, obviously you can throw stronger enemies, but make the actual environment have some kind of extra effects or challenge or debilitation or something.
Yeah, right. And some of them are really benefit. Like it's literally random. So some of them are very beneficial. Some of them are very bad. But
yeah,
you won't find out until you start doing stuff. So yeah, that was a lot of what you're seeing is totally like it's not a Kikimora in that room. That was a character that I saw. And honestly, we can talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Because that's technically the first thing you guys did was the Kikimora cave.
It was.
You guys didn't go into the Fomorian's cave at first. And before we get to that, I'll say like this map is again too big because I can feel you guys going like, I don't want to move my token all the way over there. I'm like, all right, fine, I'll move your tokens all the way over there.
Yeah, it is. It's also maybe a function of Roll20 because literally there's a lot of lag when you're even trying to like scroll through and even move the token. It like takes
that's weird.
a hot second to do it, and it just kind of drains you to have to move it very far when it's that kind of condition.
That may be a function of the double-sized maps.
Yeah,
where like it's scaled down. That may be like it's too big of a map. I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah, I can't remember Storm Kings doing that too much, but this one partly it can be a kind of a chore to move around, but I feel like if it were like snappy and instantly I was just popping my token and things were moving right away, I could be like, all right, I'm flopping along. But at some point I'm just like, I'm picking up my guy, I'm throwing over here, and it takes like 4 seconds for that to happen. It's like, oh, this is such a drag.
That's weird, actually. Yeah, that's interesting. I'll try to. Well, I mean, this is the last of the giant maps.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, go with the Kikimora before I start asking more.
Oh yeah. So Kikimora, it is exactly what you had a problem like what Kalen reacted to. That's what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be this like all right, he'll trade with you, but he's trading for your mind. Like he will trade you for your memories and your abilities.
Did you come up with that, or is that something you got from something?
I just came up with it.
Oh man.
I was like, because you guys are in a campaign now where you don't have money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, what would a trader want?
That's fascinating, though.
Yeah.
At first, I thought, God, is he gonna like steal levels? Or well, I thought when he first said, I was like, is he draining experience? But we don't really use experience.
You don't use
anymore,
experience.
So.
Yep. Which I kind of play with that a little bit in Storm King's Thunder too, which I think only one of you ended up doing. That idea of like literally making I'm going to make my character worse in this way in exchange for this other thing.
Well,
no, I think that everybody did it. The one
in Storm Kings is you gave everybody an item, and you could choose to give that item up to get a stat boost.
Right.
And almost all of us chose, because a lot of us didn't end up using our items much.
Yep.
Almost all of us chose to give up our item and get that stat boost.
Yeah.
Which that was a fun choice. At least.
This is the inverse of that. Yeah. So this is the inverse of like
you can give up a stat boost to get an item.
Yeah. To get an item. Which I didn't want to mess with your stats too, like the core stats too much. I could have, but I didn't. Yeah. I don't know. I felt like that was maybe a little too much. I was like, all right, memories, proficiency, like the training that they got into these different like areas. would be what he wants
Yeah,
in his head.
fascinating that you can just strip. Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean,
It's
can
a neat
that-
idea, and you did
Yeah, yeah,
definitely
yeah.
like warn and give the player like the choice, which I like that.
and that's the thing. The other thing is, I didn't want it to be like this malicious thing.
Yeah.
Like it was little like he's good natured. He has every intention of this being like a
Yeah,
fair
oh,
trade.
it was a neat encounter. Yeah, but one that I was definitely like, I don't like the way this is going.
And I expected that. I expected like some people like when they even got an idea of what was being proposed, they're like, no, I definitely don't want to do that.
Did you have some kind of failsafe if we wanted to get into combat with him and try to take his stuff?
I did.
Because it sounded like the actual items on display were just illusions or something.
That's the only clue I'll give you to that, is that if you guys had decided to attack him, everything he'd shown you up to that point was an illusion. So take your guess at what would have happened.
Yeah, you can attack him, but you're not gonna get near shit.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep. So that was definitely
He was a fun
like
character.
yeah. You know who he was? He was supposed to be what? I guess the beginning of Aladdin.
Yeah.
The guy who was like trying to sell something at the very
Yeah.
beginning of Aladdin.
Does not
Who I
break.
think
It
is-
does not break. It's broke.
Yeah. Yeah. That's supposed to be him. that's where I got the voice anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was supposed to be like just a instead of deciding to trade money for an item, like have this be a kind of major decision. Like, do I really want to give up like something I'm good at for an item? And I love that
It's hard because you don't know exactly what the items are.
exactly, yeah. He wasn't exactly clear on what and I mean that may be because he hasn't used them himself. You know, he just kind of has an idea of what they can do.
Yeah. Once again, you give the players the choices too.
Yep. I love that, but I was gonna be bummed if nobody did it. If at least one person did it, I would feel like it was a successful experiment.
Yeah, that's true.
But of course, Reese didn't let me down there because he'll always be like, all right, fine, let's do it.
Did Scarlet end up? Or she did the other one, that's right. I was like, Heather
Yeah,
usually is
a
always up
potion.
for that kind of thing too, but she did that.
Yeah,
potion
she
one,
is. She did the potion, and then
like the risk
Yep.
reward.
exactly. The very, very much risk reward. Yeah.
I like that you let me cheat the system and use sticks.
I was like, all right, he could just. At that point, he was just looking for awakeness, like just rest out of any creature that wants to
Yeah.
give it up. But as I was doing that, I was thinking like, all right, how do I punish him for cheating the system like this though? I know he's like a low level creature. He gets 2 levels under charge.
I don't know how to track that because his sheet doesn't have that in there, so we'll have to.
That's
help me remember
true.
that.
I don't know how you track that either. To be
Yeah,
honest.
I'll have to make a note or something. But is it disadvantage on, or is that the movement one that like slows him down? It might not come into play that
That's-
often.
I mean, yeah, sticks probably doesn't matter that much.
Ability checks. I don't know what exhaust is. I want to say
Yeah,
it's
what
the
is two-
movement. Maybe disadvantage on attack rolls, which he doesn't. Attack.
Speed halved.
Speed half.
Look,
Okay.
2 is speed halved. Okay, so if you don't send him far away from you, that's fine. But yeah, yep. So he's just a very tired imp right now.
Okay. That potion was worth it though.
Yeah,
All the
Yeah.
what's great about this session is we did all these crazy things and then they all paid off in that session
yes.
with the rug and then the potion.
I do love that Reese agreed, or Tim agreed to the trade only to immediately have to use the item. Like immediately.
Yeah. I'm
And
surprised
then
it's
just
the
leave it
rug. It seemed
behind.
like the dumbest one of the 3. I'm like, all right,
Well,
just
I
take the
can
rug.
kind of see why, because it was kind of, well, I don't know, the cloud one, I think Reese kind of correctly gathered that, like, okay, cloud would be like traversal, trying to like, okay, get around places, ride clouds, and Tim is just not that. He just
Yeah,
needs to
that's
be up
true.
in front, and also zipping around. Tim probably doesn't need to be doing that either, because he needs
True.
to just be up front. So the rug was probably just the default choice. It probably wasn't that he wanted the rug. It was probably that he did the other two would be that useful.
That's so fucking crazy that the spell, that it was the cavern that triggered the thing that pulled the mushrooms off, that then pissed off the
Yeah,
thing. And you even gave us a social check to try to calm him down.
I
and we
did.
failed
I
miserably.
did. I love that during that Fomorian encounter, none of you passed a social check. It was just fail after fail.
Yep. Even with advantage on like both times, I think.
Yep. Yeah.
And I assume that would have been just a straight up combat encounter at that point.
Oh yeah. It was just it would have been a combat encounter, but I was kind of trying to give you guys the impression that he's chasing you out of his cave.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't going to follow you to the river. He was just.
I feel like if you roll for initiative though and have an enemy attacking, it depends on how you play it. If you're like, all right, he takes the swing and then like menacing, like it depends if you actually put us in combat mode or not.
That's kind of what I was gonna do. What I was gonna do before you guys said like, all right, throw the rug.
Yeah.
Is I was gonna say like the Fomorian yells like, get out of my cave, whatever. He chases you. He hits the closest one to him with his club. Then I ask you before I roll initiative.
Okay.
What do you guys do?
Yeah.
Kind of giving you guys an out if you wanted to just run away, you could do that.
Yeah.
For all I know, you guys could have been like, no, we fucking kill this creature.
That was hilarious. That the one attack roll rolled in this entire session was a crit.
That's crazy.
Like 40 some damage.
Yep.
And I like that you allowed us to just throw that rug out there because that was just the funny, memorable thing to have happen.
Yep, exactly. It's like, well, if the way I figured it was like, okay, if all this sort of happening simultaneously, you guys are trying to talk him down, and you guys see him coming at you. It's like a solid 20 feet of movement from him to you. So you guys gotta.
You could have. I mean, you could have been strict about it though. You could have been like, all right, both you guys roll for initiative, and then you can throw that rug on your turn, and he's still in case he rolls sooner, he's gonna come up and attack you.
But I could have, but that would have locked you guys into combat. I kind of didn't want to lock you guys into combat like that.
Yeah, probably would have had to kill that creature.
Yeah. He didn't really mean anybody any harm. He just wants to stay in his colorful room.
Whatever. He was gonna smash us with his glove.
He was gonna
take those mushrooms off the wall. Good guy.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys got away from the Fomorian. Yeah. You guys got to remember that you left that rug.
I know. We do have to remember that.
At the very least, even if you don't actually handle it the way you wanted to handle it, at least you got to like grab the rug and run, just so you don't lose that item forever.
We do have to remember that because that's probably going to be. I don't know how big this dungeon is, but that might be sessions from now, and we need to remember that he spent his rug back there. He was just sad to lose that rug. He's like, no, the rug. It's like it was used to good effect, but
that's right.
We are going to have to get that rug back.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, I mean, if he's unconscious, I guess it depends on how the rug magic works. Could you literally just like stab him enough times until he goes down, or is that wake him up?
It says the instant you take damage, you wake up.
Oh, okay.
It says the only two things that wake him up are taking damage and unrolling the rug.
Okay.
Other than that, he's just gonna sleep forever.
Wow. And then the slod stuff which we did beat. We were able to make it there and pass whatever monster stuff you had on the way. I didn't.
So you guys kind of came at that from a direction that I was not exactly expecting.
Oh, really?
I don't know why I didn't expect it, because I kind of thought you guys would maybe not heed the warnings quite as much and actually go, because you saw that there were some creatures up to the
was that
another entrance to the river?
That was one the Kikimora warned us about, right? He's like, if you want to go straight south, that's the quickest way. But
that's exactly.
Dangerous.
So the problem with this level, when I started, I had to have the entire thing prepped.
Yeah,
at least in my mind, because it's literally it's a cave. So it was like, okay, you get here, now you have paths going in all cardinal directions. Okay, you go one over, now there's paths going in all cardinal directions.
Yeah.
So you guys could have totally skipped Kikimora, could have skipped the giant, could have gone down that southern passage, had to fight the creatures that are there. You could have kept going east if you wanted to, see what's east. You could have gone in any direction.
Yeah.
The only leading I gave you is when you started talking about tracks. I was like, all right, well, I'll tell them who lives around here. And
Kethra, you kind of I mean, to do the first one with the Kikimora, you actually started that up with calling.
Yeah, but that's like she was already going up there.
Yeah.
But that was like after she was already traveling. I was like, all right, well, let's start
Atlas,
this encounter.
the Fomorian, and the Fomorian told us to go to the river, and then I mean, basically, and you know this about our group, we're generally not very, like, occasionally we'll split off and explore a little bit, but in general, we kind of follow the breadcrumbs along a set path.
Yep.
For the most part.
Follow the clues, yeah.
Yeah. So that means we took the path of least resistance to get to the slot. So did we make it further than you were expecting, maybe?
Yes, further because you guys didn't have any combat encounters to get to the slot camp.
I didn't expect that either, to get this far into this session, this far into this dungeon out of a single combat encounter.
Right.
And literally meet multiple exotic creatures and not
combat
encounters.
Multiple exotic creatures and just talk to them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Slod one shocked me, but then I realized as soon as you said that clue about, these guys have their control gems, like, oh, right, the Slods are supposed to be, like, non-hostile in this area.
Right. Yep. So, yeah, the Slod camp is kind of the test, because you guys came out in a different direction, but the other direction you would have seen just more Slod on a riverbank if you kept going down the river.
But might still be going down that river, I don't know.
You probably will go down the river and see those Slod. Anyway, yeah. But to give you guys the chance to react to them however you want to react to them. If you wanted to react to them violently, you could absolutely have done that. Yeah. There's no reason not to. The Slods have attacked you recently. It's fine. But
it's funny how this is the group that's not the like Suicide Squad asshole kill people.
Kill them all. Yeah.
This is actually the tempered group.
Yeah.
Mainly because of Scarlet and Tim and somewhat Gillian.
Yeah. Yeah. Being more diplomatic, being more like friendly. And, yeah, it's very interesting. But here's the thank you, Kendra. Kendra kind of wants to kill people every once in a while.
She wants to kill, but she's not reckless.
That's true. She's not reckless. Very, very calculated about her killing so far.
About her killings. Murders.
The Slod reason. I don't know if Tim did this. I'm sure he didn't. I'm sure he just thought it was funny, which is exactly the key to the Slod. Which I don't think he realized when he was doing it. But the Slod are crazy.
They're just crazy,
and they react to crazy. They empathize with crazy.
They're creatures of chaos, so they're just like little mini jokers.
Yeah. So Tim going in there acting like a man-sized mushroom.
What the hell?
Was the perfect thing to sort of get their attention without them, because the whole like Slod psychology shtick is that like they can lose interest real quickly. Like their personalities are so like minute to minute that they, if you're trying to talk to them in a calm, logical fashion, they may just lose interest in you and either want to kill you or decide you're not worth it anymore or whatever. So Tim coming in, I'm gonna pretend to be a mushroom. Then, apropos of nothing, apropos of like me casting a spell, I'm gonna start vomiting glitter all over the ground. Was
there? I guess it's could have gone different ways depending. I'm fascinated to see this table for these wild magic things, but there could have been some that just really fucked us pretty bad on that.
It could have been. There could have been some that just fucked that entire encounter all the hell.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah.
This only worked because he rolled the thing that turned him a little purple.
Yep.
And
exactly. That's yeah. If Tim had walked in there just trying to talk to them like normal Tim and just trying to like have a conversation, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how I would have replayed it in the moment, but they wouldn't have reacted like they wouldn't have been as cooperative as they were. So that's
hilarious.
Only by sheer chance, which that's kind of the whole like shtick of this dungeon.
Yeah. The theme of this session too is just stumbling into solutions.
Yep. Just random chaos.
And we were getting good information from them, like where they needed to go and what was the deal and who the villain is and all that thing. So so
exactly.
So
you got everything that the Slods had to give exposition wise, which was kind of like that's kind of the ultimate goal of that particular little Slod encampment is really just to tell you what you need to know.
Yeah. That
there's Slods that went to go commune with the Ball of Light, but the Ball of Light took their control gems, and the Slods don't like that because their agreement was that the control gems would never be taken from them, and that's it, basically. And that's what you need to know, yeah.
That's
You
awesome.
also know that they want you to go south and die because they think it'll be funny.
It'll be fun. Yeah. We're like, all right, we'll go back to the river now.
Yeah.
River is life. The river is love. Without spoiling things too much, how far into this dungeon do you think we made it in this session?
Pretty far.
Okay.
Pretty far. Partially because of the way you played it. You know, like I said, if you had fought the Fomorian, that would have been, you know, what, 15, 20 minutes of you guys just beating on a giant while he tried to club you.
Yeah, because we didn't have any combat, we felt like we got
Yeah.
through quite a bit.
Exactly. God. The problem, well, not to spoil anything,
Yeah.
but you guys probably have 2 sessions left here. I'm
Okay.
guessing. If you do things premium efficiency,
Yeah.
then
But
you
it seems
you
like
have 2
that's
sessions.
our goal right now.
Yeah, to get, which, I mean, what, like, the things that you've heard that, like, are not efficient, but you've heard are like, okay, there's demons apparently in the Northeast,
Yeah.
but as far as you know, those they don't really have anything to do with what you're there to do.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like, well, are you guys going to split off and go try to deal with that or not? It's totally up to you. But premium efficiency, you guys probably have like 2 sessions left here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty solid.
Yep. Which will be kind of more on track to what my spacing was going to be originally.
Yeah.
Like 2 to 3 sessions in each level,
Each one,
and then we
yeah.
move on.
Because each one is a yeah, like a whole level of play.
Yep. Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, we'll see you guys. How you guys? I doubt you guys going to get quite as far with social encounters as you did this session. But we'll see.
Dungeon kind of front loaded those a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. You guys just sort of did them all like real quick, real like rapid succession.
Nice. So far, normal schedule for next week. I don't know when we need to start talking about holiday stuff, but
What is next week? Next week's the 11th.
11th should be
11th is totally normal. 18th, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm gonna drive back to Texas on the 19th. 25th, probably nobody's gonna be here.
We'll probably go ahead and take that week off. I think.
Yeah.
That's probably fair.
And the
Fair bet.
first, I don't know. We'll have to talk about the first because I think I'll still be in Texas, but maybe I can still run it from Texas. I don't know if
Oh,
everybody's
wow.
around. We'll see.
Okay. We've got some weeks then.
Yep. Yeah, the next 2 weeks at least are normal.
Normal. Okay. Well, that'd be good time if we can get to this dungeon then before we
That's true.
Before we
Get
go
to
on
the
our
dungeon and then Christmas.
holiday
Yep.
break. Yeah. / Chris's birthday.
That's right.
Reason for the season.
It's my birthday / Christmas.
That's right. All right. I think that will do it for this week's chat for The Lost Plane. Thank you to DM Chris, player Raymond. I'm Eric. Thank you to all the wonderful fans for watching. And we will see you all next week.
Yes, indeed.